Yes, guys, welcome sa panibago nating lecture series dito sa Industrial Security Management on the topic personnel security. In this presentation, we are going to talk about the basic concepts related to personnel security, of course, the personnel security investigation, the personnel access control, the pass and the badge system, and the visitor and vehicle access control system. At the end of this presentation, it is expected that everyone will be able to demonstrate knowledge and competence, of course, in discussing and applying the principles and techniques in personnel security system. Now, let's begin discussing about the concept of personnel security. Ang personnel security na tinatawag ay sumasaklaw sa lahat ng mga security measures na ang hangarin is to prevent unsuitable individuals. That means to say, lahat po ng aspiring candidates na gustong mag-join sa organization or sa company ay dinadaan sa masusing pamamaraan upang ma-screen out or ma-assess ang suitability ng isang potential candidate that will be aspiring for any position to be joined in the organization or to the company. Ang hangarin or ang pinakalayunin ng personnel security sa isang industrial firm ay para masiguro na lahat ng naha-hire na manggagawa ay best suited and that para ma-assist ang organization upang ma-achieve ang pangkabuuang mission and vision ng company or organization. Also para ma-assist ang organization by providing yung necessary security para sa mga manggagawa, lalo na sa mga potential candidates that will be hired and will occupy positions or functions on the future. Again, that is the concept of personnel security. And ang pinaka-effective at pinaka-common tool na ginagamit as far as personnel security is concerned ay yun pong tinatawag natin na PSI or Personnel Security Investigation. Ito po ay isang uri ng pagsisiyasat na sumasaklaw sa karakter ng isang tao, reputation at ang kanyang kakayahan magdesisyon, of course ang kanyang integridad, ang morals at ang kanyang loyalty na siyang tinitingnan natin at binibigyan diin upang makita natin yung suitability or pagiging angkop ng isang potential candidate to be hired and to occupy position and perform such a function on the future. May dalawang klase ang PSI, yung tinatawag nating complete and partial background investigation. Now, when we talk about complete background investigation, it involves more comprehensive other than being particular. No? So that means to say, ang personal life ng isang applicant ang ating binibigyang diin dito. On the other hand, pag sinabi natin partial background investigation, we are looking after on the specific circumstances, particular issues, or those pertinent informations that is concerned in relation to the position being applied for and with the functions that will be performed by such an applicant or a potential aspirant or a candidate to be hired sa ating organization or sa ating company. Moving on ay ang tinatawag na positive vetting, no? Isa rin ito sa mga uri ng personnel security investigation na pwede natin gamitin. Ito pong si positive vetting ay ang process na ginagamit natin to inspect or to examine with of course careful and thoroughness na kung saan dito sa positive vetting ang ating ginagawa ay patuloy na investigate, i-examine at i-evaluate ang kasalukuyan at nagpapatuloy na lifestyle ng ating manggagawa, kung ang kanila bang pagtupad sa kanilang tungkulin or pag-perform ng kanilang functions, including their life, even though they are outside from the firm or even though they are outside from the workplace, ay tumutugma pa sa quality standards ng ating organization or kung ang kanilang patuloy na pag-discharge ng kanilang function is still in line or consonance with the quality standards of the organization. Pangatlo ay ang tinatawag na prowling. Prowling as part of personnel security investigation ay yung mga proseso or ginagawa ng isang company o ng isang organization upang ma-predict natin ang critical capacity or critical ability ng ating manggagawa as they encounter on the future critical situations that provokes or requires their critical thinking and critical ability to deal with critical situations, especially those who are aspiring for a managerial positions since they are the most front lines in the hierarchy of the organization na kadalasan nakakaranas ng mga critical situations, lalo na pagdating sa mga critical decision-making situations. Again, that is prowling. Sunod ay tinatawag natin deception detection techniques. Whenever issues arises on the credibility, integrity, transparency, honesty, loyalty ng ating mga manggagawa, ang isa sa mga common tool na ginagamit natin as part as personnel security is concerned ay ang deception detection techniques by utilizing a polygraph examination or lie detector examination. Next is financial and lifestyle inquiry. Isa sa mga uri or tools na pwede natin gamitin under PSI na ginagamit to investigate and seek information on the income and mood of living ng ating mga manggagawa. No? Kaya tinatawag din sila sa ibang pangalan na earning to debt ratio investigation. Kasi dito, tinitingnan natin yung financial capacity, yung mode of living ng ating mga manggagawa, baka nagkakaroon ng imbalance or there might be a conflict between the mode of living and the way how they discharge their function and of course, follow the standards of our organization as it affects of course sa kanilang personal na buhay. Kaya sinisiguro natin dito sa financial and lifestyle inquiry na anuman ang mga challenges financially or sa buhay ng ating mga manggagawa ay hindi ito makakaapekto as they discharge their functions or position in the organization. Next ay ang tinatawag nating undercover investigation kung saan ang atin pong management, no, ang atin pong usually ang ating human resource department ay nag-adapt with utilizing agents, no, that will remain unknown and that the purpose of that is to obtain information for criminal prosecution or for recovery of limitation of assets or loss of it. That means to say if there are issues about integrity, credibility, loyalty, no, and so with the accountability of our employees, pwede mag-adapt tayo ng mga undercover agents that's just to look after. Seek information and verify, look for evidence if there are issues arising from the credibility, accountability of our employees. That is to ensure na hindi po malulugi ang ating company. Next is the exit interview, ang security na ating ginagamit or ang proseso na ating ginagamit for PSI that whenever there are resigning individuals or retiring employees or even those kailangan natin i-dismiss due to a valid reason or every time that meron tayong manggagawa na aalis na po sa ating organization or company, parapat lang na idaan sila sa exit interview para ma-extract ang information as to how they feel during the tenure or the time that they are working in our organization. Also, to extract information about issues that they wanted to raise para ma-improve natin ang ating system or kung meron mang mga regrets na maaari ay mabaon nila palabas na pwedeng magdulot ng bad reputation sa organization or pwedeng magdulot ng future problem as the case which may be brought up into the DOL or yun pong mga tinatawag natin mga labor related issues. So the reason why We should have to have this exit interview as part of personnel security investigation. Now let's talk about the factors considered in background investigation. How do we do background investigation? So, isa sa mga common na pwede natin tingnan ay ang loyalty check. No? The faithful allegiance ng ating manggagawa o ng isang manggagawa o lingkod bayan kung sa aspeto ng government. Siyempre, ang integridad. So, ang integrity ay ang tumutukoy sa uprightness sa karakter or soundness sa moralidad ng ating manggagawa. Yung discretion naman ay yung ability or tendency or to act or decide with prudence. No? The capacity of one's individual in dealing with or making such sound or right decision. Now, another is moral. Tumutukoy po ito sa qualities ng isang tao as they know how to value the goodness, the badness, the rightness, the wrongness, or the quality of what they are doing. So, in relation to work, it talks about how they value yung mga nararapat at hindi nararapat na kanilang inaambag or sinishare patungo sa pangkabuuan na success ng organization. Siyempre, we also look after the character, no? Yung some of the traits, yung pag-uugali na nagmamanifest sa isang tao. And of course, ang reputation. So pag pinagsama ang lahat ng mga qualities by loyalty, by integrity, credibility, discretion, character, or morals, that builds the reputation of one's person. So that thing is also part of what we are looking after on the totality of quality na atin pong hinahanap sa isang tao. Let's talk about the types of PSI. So sa personnel security investigation, mayroong mga uri at isa sa kanila ay tinatawag nating local agency check. So locally, we check on the background of the aspirant to join our organization or our company. So locally, may mga agencies like barangay government, the police, the office of the prosecution, the municipal trial court, the regional trial court. These agencies are locally based. So the reason why we seek for our applicant to comply or submit with these clearances. So once they are cleared or given with the remarks of no derogatory record or having that good moral uprightness, then it's up to us. No, that is a manifestation that somebody or someone is qualified for what they are aspiring for. On the other hand, nandyan si National Agency Check. So nationally, ang mga ahensyang ito ay tinitingnan natin if the aspirant is cleared or having that good moral uprightness as they are being recognized by these national agencies like the National Bureau of Investigation, the Intelligence Service of the Armed Forces, the ISAF, the Bureau of Immigration, and some other national agencies which we require, just like for example PSA, na kailangan pa natin ma-check kung ang tao is siya nga po yung identified na tao and having that moral uprightness. And of course, we are also doing the so-called BI or background investigation na sinisiyasat natin dito ang mga impormasyon na inilathala ng applicant doon sa applicant's form na ating pinapa-fill up sa kanya. So we based on verifying information kung ano ang mga interest na inilagay niya doon. That is to ensure na nagsasabi siya ng totoo, ang kanyang mga qualities, qualifications are based on real and of course factual na representation doon sa kanyang inilathala sa application form na atin pong pinapa-accomplish usually sa ating mga applicants. Again, ito po ang mga uri ng tinatawag nating PSI. Let's talk about the manning levels. Pagdating sa personnel security investigation, we also utilize or we also employ the principle of manning levels, wherein sa manning levels, the number of people engaged in or required for work in a firm or industry. That is to ensure na we can analyze and understand the mission of security. And of course, determine the level of the organization's security risk and vulnerabilities pagdating sa deployment ng ating tao. At para masiguro natin na ang physical safeguards in place ay nagagawa nating makita, matukoy, ma-review, and so many other reasons. No? And siyempre, makapag-design tayo ng mga programa that will support the achievement of the mission, the management of the risk, and the implementation of intended services. So usually sa manning level, we look after kung ilan ang ating i-assign sa mga large buildings, work sites, kinokontrol natin yung access points, no? Tinitingnan natin yung customer service oriented security personnel, the way how we deal with our customers, the way how we deal with high value merchandise, no? So depending on the number of people assigned or the deployment procedure, we come after this manning level para masiguro natin we are maximizing our human resources accordingly and in consonance with the mission and vision that we have. Now, dito sa sinasabi nating manning level, nasabi natin kanina yung isa sa mga purpose, yung personnel access. Kaya naman, meron tayong sistema sa PSI na tinatawag nating personnel access control. And when we talk about access control system, broad na concept ito na tumutukoy sa lahat ng mga methods or techniques na ating ginagamit para ma-regulate ang access ng bawat manggagawa. Dahil hindi po pwedeng ang lahat ng manggagawa can access everywhere, anytime, no, na hindi naayon sa mga security policies. Kaya naman, to effectively apply the access control system, meron tayong tinatawag na physical access control which limits the access to mga physical structures natin like the campus, the building, the office, the room, or any IT assets natin. That is physical access control system. Samantala, ang logical access control ay ang isang sistema na ginagamit natin para malimit ang koneksyon sa mga computer networks, systems, files, and data pagdating sa ating mga personnel na kung hindi sila pwedeng maka-access sa documents, sa information, sa files, then hindi pwedeng mangyari na magkakagano. Once again, ito po ang tinatawag nating access control system. Sa pag-control din ng access ng ating mga personnel, we also adopt the so-called access badge. Kaya pag sinabi natin access badge, ito ay ang credential or isang technology na ating ini-issue, ibinibigay sa ating personnel na nagbibigay sa kanila ng clearance to access physically or to access logically sa mga assets or facilities ng ating organization. So physically, kung meron kang access badge para makapasok sa opisina na yan, magkakapasok ka. Logically, kung meron kang access badge para makapag-open up ng computer na yan, makapag-open ng cabinet na yan, at saka ang laman ng files na yan, then it's all about access badge na nagiging batayan if somebody can access that installation. Again, this is the concept of access badge. And we have common types of access badge. So, meron tayo, depende sa kakayahan ng resources or sa system na gusto natin i-adapt. Katulad ng magnetic stripe. So, si magnetic stripe ay isang uri ng card which is capable of storing data at kakayahang mag-modify because of that magnetic tiny iron-based particles na nagre-read ng card. No? So, technology po ito na gumagamit ng electronic means. Also, we have the proximity card. Itong contactless card na hindi kailangan ihagod or iswipe because it is being read kung anuman ang magnetic stripe na kayang ma-read ng machine na ito. At ang common sa ating nakikita, si barcode na nagre-read ng data, no, nag-acquire ng data upang ang isang bagay ay maka-access o ang isang installation ay mabuksan. We also have smart card na ini-insert or sinaswipe katulad ng credit card, no, na nagre-read sa data na taglay ng card na yan upang mabasa kung ang laman nito is really the identity of one's person na mayroong access badge. At ang isa rin sa mga common na ating nakikita ay yung biometric device wherein fingerprint patterns ang kanyang nire-read upang ang mga registered personnel ay mabasa ang kanilang identity for the purpose of attendance or accessing such a facility or installation. Another system or tool na pwede natin gamitin for the purpose of personnel security ay ang pag-control sa susi. So dito sa key control system, what we adopt is to manage the case. Because case, somehow, ang pinakakumo na tool na ginagamit to access physically or logically sa ating operations. So in most cases, kung ang susi ang ginagamit, we must have to manage the security of case. Dahil ang key na yan ay maliit lang na tool na ginagamit natin to open facilities or equipments or kung anumang cabinet which contains important security files or documents. So, if we're going to talk about the key, madami pong mga klase yan. May tinatawag tayong chinch key, yung isang susi na kayang makapagbukas ng isang lock. Pero kung ang susi ay may kakayahan magbukas in a group or in a particular area, just like for example, 3 rooms in the second floor, then we can see it is a submaster key. Pero kung ang isang susi ay capable, may kakayahan magbukas in a series of lock, 5 or more, no, sa buong ground floor, sa buong second floor, then we can see it's a master key. No, so mas limited siya as to the capacity with the grandmaster key because pag sinabi natin grandmaster key, yung susi na may kakayahan magbukas sa kahit anong room, sa kahit anong floor, or sa kahit anong installation. That is again grandmaster key. And we have here the best practices for an effective key control. First, identify the gaps sa current problems na na-encounter natin on the policy that we have on the key control system. At siyempre, mag-conduct ng regular na inventory and audit sa mga nawawala at sa mga existing na susi natin, ilan ang napapa-duplicate. Kung nawala, ilan ang bago, ilan ang pina-rekey, no? And of course, there must be creation and distribution of a key holder agreement for the purpose of accountability. Mamaya, pag may mga issues being raised, siyempre sa pag-iimbestiga, kailangan meron tayong proper procedure. And of course, yung conduct of training para sa proper na paggamit and security ng susi at sa araw-araw na report about the update kung may susi na lumalabas sa establishment at may susi na naiiwan sa kung kanino or napapasa sa kung kanino. That is to ensure accountability for the purpose of controlling access. And legally, of course, when there are issues about unauthorized entry, meron po tayong Felonious Act provided under Article 304 ng ating revised penal code, tinatawag na possession of picklocks or similar tools that everyone or any person is liable, no, na managot kung tayo ay in possession of that picklock or similar tools na may kakayahan magbukas sa isang pinoprotektahan pribadong pag-aari. And the penalty is the same to be imposed sa isang tao na gagawa ng kaparihong tool. And if it is offered by a locksmith, then the penalty to be imposed will be prison correctional in its medium and maximum period. So again, that is a possession of picklocks or similar tools. Another one is yung provided under Article 305, which is called the false key. So pag sinabi natin false key, ito po ay sakop na rin yung mga picklocks o kahalintulad na tool other than the original key na pwedeng magamit for the purpose of robbery or unauthorized na pagnanakaw or pagkuha ng mga bagay sa isang establishment na pinoprotektahan. At siyempre, yung original na susi na kinuha sa may-ari. that is considered false key under Article 305. And so with any key other than the original which is being used by the owner para magamit or gamitin upang magawa ng offender yung pagnanakaw or unauthorized entry. So ito po yung dalawang Felonious Act under the Revised Penal Code that someone may be liable when they are in possession of these picklocks or false key, because ang manifestation is that is of course a breach into security. Another system na ginagamit for the purpose of access control ay ang tinatawag na pass and badge system. Pass or badge system ay ini-issue bilang security control sa access ng mga manggagawa or ang lahat ng mga kasapi sa organization or establishment alongside with the operation. So ang purpose nitong pag-adapt ng pass or badge system ay para masiguro na only persons who have the right and authority ay ang binibigyan ng necessary access to the area. The pass system is for general use and not for restricted areas like exclusive, limited, or controlled areas. That is because pag sinabi pass system natin, that warrants someone na makapasok sa organization. Pero hindi po ito ginagamit for purposes of restriction pagdating sa mga exclusive or limited areas, because from here, ang ginagamit natin is badge system na. So dito sa pass system, meron tayong mga klase na ginagamit. Meron tinatawag na single pass system. So si single pass system ay isang pagkakataon or isang situation lang ang nangyayari sa palitan para magkaroon ng access point or ng access ang tao. So sa mga bisita or kahit sa ating mga internal personnel, external personnel or guest visitors, usually we ask them identification card at pinapalitan natin ng pass. So pag nabigyan na sila ng pass, nakakaroon na sila ng access or entry sa atin pong company or organization or sa establishment. On the other hand, pag sinabi natin pass exchange, other than the pass na ating binigay para makapasok siya sa gate, kung meron pang ibang building or office na pupuntahan, para makapasok ka doon sa specific office, sa building A halimbawa, so you have that pass, kaya nakapasok ka sa gate and then you will go to building A. Pagdating sa building A, para makapasok ka sa specific room or office, ay hihingan ka ng panibagong security control or access. So from there, ibibigay mo yung pass at papalitan ka ng panibago, exchange pass. So you can enter into that specific room. Samantala, pag sinabi naman natin multiple pass, maliban doon sa exchange na ibinigay, you still have another recognition or pass recognition na pwede ka makapagpalitan pa for another exchange sa iba't ibang room. So from here, si multiple pass ay ginagamit if you have 2, 3, or more offices, rooms, or buildings na pupuntahan. So from there, every time na magkakaroon ka ng entry point or access point sa panibago at mga kasunod na rooms or office na pupuntahan, there is always pass and exchange na karagdagan na nangyayari. Yan po yung tinatawag na multiple pass system. Samantala, sa ibang dako, sa ibang pagkakataon, ang pagdating sa mga sophisticated na mga security access control system, ang ginagamit nila ay tinatawag na spot magnetized identification passes. So with that code, without card, or kung ano man yung technological means na meron, yun na po yung ginagamit. That every time you hold that card, you hold the technology, it allows you to access everywhere, anywhere. Kasi doon, didepende yan sa code kung saan ang limitation or restriction ng inisyu sa'yo na card, na code, or anumang technology iyon. Pagdating naman sa hindi gaano ka-sophisticated or ka-sensitive na mga facilities, usually, enough ang access list. Pero may mga pagkakataon din of course na yung mga sensitive, highly protected areas, kahit na mayroon pa silang single pass, mayroon pa silang pass exchange, multiple pass, mayroon pa silang spot magnetized, para lang mas ma-verify pa, mayroon pa rin access list na ina-adapt. No? So, pwedeng wala, pwedeng meron. That depends upon the policy, the procedure na ina-adapt in a security system sa isang organization or sa isang establishment. Okay, so magpatuloy tayo dito sa visitor movement control. Of course, sa company natin, sa organizations, establishment, there is always guests and visitors na pumapasok from time to time sa daily operations natin. So isa sa mga control measures na ating ginagawa or is yung pag-adapt ng visitors logbook. Lahat ng pumapasok ng mga guests and visitors, external providers ay pinag-accomplish natin na mag-extract ng information doon sa logbook natin. Of course, photography, no? Kinukunan natin sila ng photograph para magawan ng visitor's ID upang ma-recognize sila that during the time that nandun sila sa company or establishment, they are recognized as guest or visitor. Also, we adopt escort system. No? It is expensive but the most secure because pagdating sa mga malalaki na establishment, malalawak, usually we need to adopt escort system. Also, the visitors entrance system na kung saan ang entrance ng mga VIP, entrance ng mga visitors is really different from the employees and customers na mga normal or regular. At syempre kung lalabas ang visitor, ang guest, sa atin pong establishment, and then gagamit ng sasakyan, pasasamahan natin ng escort, monitored po ng security operation ang time travel nila. That is to ensure na ang kanilang itinerary ay nasusundan. Siyempre, ang vehicle movement control coming from the vehicles owned and used by the guest or external providers. So usually we adopt escort service. Pinapa-escortan natin lalo na yung mga VIP guests and VIP personnel natin, yung sasakyan talaga nila, we consider also or we employ also high form of security monitoring. The driver pool kung saan ito ang pinaka-most secure but most expensive considering that sa system na ito gumagamit tayo ng mga drivers na kung saan talagang ang mga highly valued na ating mga drivers na usually sila yung ating ina-assign pagdating sa mga VIP, pagdating sa mga malalayo, masisilan na mga itinerary na dito ang in charge usually mga CEO, nasa top management, mga executive committee, at siyempre yung mga VIP guests and visitors natin. Of course, the time travel being written or being scheduled at the itinerary, no? Tinitingnan din natin 'yan. Yung grid system kung saan atin pong ibinibigay yung map, atin pong ipinapakita, ini-explain yung ruta, destination, and expected time of departure, arrival, and sequence of itinerary para ang atin pong guest visitors ay they are aware of the purpose of security and that pag may mga unnecessary or mga unexpected na mga pupuntahan, pagtigil or pagka-delay, alam po ng security monitoring natin. Hindi naman malulugi yung atin pong company from its assets na ginagamit doon po sa pag-accommodate ng ating mga guests and visitors. And of course, the search of vehicles. So doon pa lang sa pagpasok nila sa entrance, sa pagpasok nila sa establishment, ang mga sasakyan ng atin pong mga personnel, guests, visitors, and even our regular employees, lahat po yan are subject for security checking. Okay, so pagdating sa access control system, mahalaga na maunawaan natin ang tinatawag na restricted area. Kaya nga tayo nag-a-adapt ng pass and badge system at iba't ibang uri ng access control system para ma-restrict, ma-ensure ang security sa matters being protected. So in here, yan po yung tinatawag natin restricted area. Ang restricted area is a broad concept na tumutukoy sa lahat ng lugar kung saan ang personnel or sasakyan are controlled for access sa kadahilanan ng security. Security na nagsisiguro na maprotektahan ang asset ng ating company organization against unnecessary loss or damage due to ineffective security system. And when we talk about restricted area, meron po tayong dalawang uri. Limited and exclusion. So from the word itself, limited area, dito matatawag natin ito na restricted area na may lesser degree of control na required kung ikukumpara natin sa exclusion sapagkat dito ang security interest ay kung makompromiso man by an uncontrolled movement, hindi siya gaano kataas, ka-detrimental ang kanyang impact. Samantala kung sa exclusion area, yan, that area contains top secret importance and requires the highest form of protection. So dito, kung maaari, 24/7 at walang pagkaantala, pagkaabala ang patuloy na monitoring and security presence sa area na ito. Sapagkat pag ito ay ka-encounter ng unnecessary na loss or damage, ito ay magdudulot significantly on that this will be detrimental to the operations and interest of the company. That's all with our presentation. I hope that everyone will be able to catch up with the best interest as far as the presentation is concerned. Once again, thank you.